What's up, everybody? My name is Kason. Welcome back to the WDL. This is Season 2, Week 9, our final week of the regular season, and this is for the Heinler Division. If you haven't watched the Week 9 video for Rundal, I highly encourage you watching that first, as there will be spoilers on who won the games in that division at the very end of this video. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go watch that one first. That being said, let's take a look at the standings for the Heinler Division through the first 8 weeks. In first place, we have MacRain and the Materia Hunters, who have already clinched their first overall seed in this division, so they're really not playing for anything other than to play spoiler to another team. In second place, we have a two-way tie with Ram9 and the Rock Boys and Turambar and the Ferrets, who actually play against each other this week. So the winner of that series will clinch the second overall seed. The loser will either be the third or fourth seed, depending on what happens in the other series in this video. In fourth place is where it gets very, very interesting, though, as Dr. Dickhead and the Foolish Mortals currently have the advantage with 16 points right now. But they play MacRain and the Materia Hunters, the #1 team in this division, who haven't literally lost all season. They've lost one single game, but they haven't lost a series yet. So very, very tough matchup for him. And the two teams that are right on his heels are JesusLBL of the Strawhats and Maverick of the Spaghetti Western. The last 4 teams here, Spike of Bebop's crew, Xathria of the Ghostbloods, Catrah of Sandrock, and JEBAW of the Sappers, will be competing in our Toilet Bowl, so the only thing they really have to play for this week is seeding to move up and down. For JesusLBL, Maverick, and Dr. Dickhead, let's break down real quick on what they have to do to make the playoffs before we jump into the matchup previews. Dr. Dickhead and the Foolish Mortals, it's simple, win and in. If he wins one single game, his chances of making the playoffs are very high. The only way he doesn't make the playoffs if he wins a game in his series is if Jesus loses and Maverick wins, because Maverick has the single head-to-head tiebreaker over Dr. Dickhead. If they were to run into a 3-way tie, Dr. Dickhead would have the tiebreaker because they have all beaten each other. Dr. Dickhead beat Jesus beat Maverick, and Maverick beat Dr. Dickhead, but Dr. Dickhead would have the best overall plus-minus for game win-loss. Dr. Dickhead also has the straight tiebreaker for Jesus, so if it's a 2-way tie there, he would win. Jesus' way to win is if Dr. Dickhead loses 2-0 and Jesus wins his series. If Jesus and Maverick both win, putting themselves at 17 points, and Dr. Dickhead is still at 16, Jesus would be the 4th seed. Maverick, the only way that he can make it is if Jesus loses and Dr. Dickhead loses his series either 2-0 or 2-1. Dr. Dickhead can win a game if Jesus loses his series and Maverick wins. So hopefully that's not too convoluted. Basically, Dr. Dickhead is in control of his own destiny. He needs the least amount of stuff to happen. If he wins a single game, he has a good chance. The other two teams are looking for some help. That being said, I don't want to convolute it too much. We've got a bunch of really good best of 3s to get into, and let's jump into the first one. All right, guys, so for our first series of today, not any playoff implications in this series. However, they are fighting for seeding in terms of the Toilet Bowl. Whoever wins this series will be a higher seed at the end of it, because even if Spike gets a point, Xathria would have the tiebreaker over him, and they both be at 12. So basically, it doesn't matter what their points are at this moment. Whoever wins this series will be the higher seed. Spike of Thunder Gods, coach of Bebop's crew, versus Xathria of the Guild Lapis, coach of the Ghostbloods here. Honestly, for the matchup, I'd probably give a slight edge to Spike for the simple fact that he has a lot of really good tools against evasion, which I know that Xathria and the Ghostbloods like to run. He has Lara Croft, Knight of Ruinstern, he has Lastwell, he has Shadowlynx, all solid evasion units, but Luell is incredibly accurate, Frederica has a guaranteed hit, Garvel has guaranteed hits, Resnick the Hoppy is an evasion unit herself, and Oberon has guaranteed hits. So I do think I probably give a slight advantage here to Spike in terms of overall team comp. That being said, maybe he doesn't want to run evasion in terms of Xathria's side. Could we see something like Snow or Sylvie come out? I think that is entirely possible. Let's jump into the series and see what these teams brought. All right, guys, the first series of today, we've got Xathria on the left side versus Spike on the right. So Spike is featuring that SR-140 Little Leela, and Xathria on the left side is running Snow. So likely not an evasion team coming up from Xathria. That's probably a smart move, as Spike does have a lot of tools to counter that. But what else is running alongside the Snow? And it is Snow, Valade, and Lara Croft. 2 of these units Xathria has not used at all this season. Curious to see what we've got here. So Buff comes out from Lara Croft. I actually didn't even see what buff that was. I so rarely see her. I'm not entirely sure what she used, but I know it gives her some AP as well as some other stuff. Looks like the AoE buff from Oberon, giving himself some defense piercing, AoE resist, critical evasion, and Snow is going to get his courage online here. Luel's going to walk in the middle of the party, get that unit resist up on the entire party as well as some earth attack, which will be very, very effective here. And what is Valade going to do? Not entirely sure what his buff's going to be. Divine Healing comes out from Little Leela, so not something you see a whole lot. A lot of times they go for that AoE party buff, as Ice Vitalization comes out from Valade. A nice tech here with some accuracy, some ice attack up, and Adrenaline from the Lara Croft. So I believe this is actually what she used turn 1. She just didn't use it on the entire party. And Valade, what is he going to do? He's going to go Boon of the Lion, AoE resist up on the party to try and mitigate that damage coming out from Spike's team. A lot of the good abilities coming out from Spike are AoE abilities. But I will say this Snow needs to get out in front as he runs the close call ability, giving that self-heal up. The tank being in the back is not a good thing for Xathria here, so he is moving forward. Let's see if it works out. Law of Preservation comes out. And speaking of good tanks, Little Leela, not the Bold, just the regular, Little Leela, the SR. 500 damage, Lance's silencing spell, not going to matter a lot because Snow is not a magic unit, but Barrage comes out. What kind of damage do we get? About 2k across the entire team. Probably not as much as Xathria would like to see, and again, just looking at the spacing of the units, Lara Croft is out front. That is not something that Xathria is going to want here. Earth, 8-Path Dragonshine comes out from Oberon. 6,400 crit onto Lara is not what you want to see. Can Valade get a big heal off on the team? We'll have to see here. He has full life in his kit, but he is not the best healer in the world. He has Cura and Curata, but I don't believe he has Curaga. Spirit Breaker, though, 2,800 going to drop the attack stat on Little Leela, which won't matter a whole lot. But this is a Law of Geo-Absorption. This is going to do a ton of damage. It's going to take out the Lara and that very, very accurate Luel. No problem with any sort of dodgy Lara here. Cura comes out, only going to do about 1,900. And this looks like a very early advantage here for Spike. Going to proc the Courage onto Snow. And Valade, does he go for a full life here? Honestly, I'm not entirely sure it's going to matter. I just don't think that Lara's going to have the damage to get through this team. And what do we got? So Luel's going to go next. She cannot reach the Valade, so she goes Invocation of Free Action, Agility up on herself. And it's actually a Curata miss. I thought this was a full life channel. Apparently that was a Curata. So this game 1 is likely just going to be straight over in a pretty one-sided fashion. What is Xathria going to adjust here for game 2 is my thought process. Because at this point, you know this one is going to be over. As Luel still cannot reach the Valade. I'm actually surprised. But height range issues. This map is a very, very strange map. It's hard to work around. Curata is a nice size heal. But Silencing Spell comes out. Actually resists the silence. I wonder if Valade has naturally 50 silence resist, because that is a very high chance of silence going off. But Stunblade's going to pop. Spike is going to take this game 1 in a pretty convincing fashion, I would say. What kind of changes does Xathria make for game 2? Let's jump in and find out. All right, guys, game number 2 here. We've got Xathria's Whisper showing on the left and Spike's Little Leela showing on the right. So 3,100 attack stat coming up from Spike tells me that there's some sort of switch up. That means Luel is not coming. So Spike, expecting a switch from Xathria, did he call this and switch into the right thing himself? We'll have to find out here. So it is Whisper Shadowlink Sylvie. Interesting. So Shadowlinks, I'm curious to see if she is evasive in this build or if just basically an extra damage dealer. Padfoot, Haste and Hate down. She can be a fairly effective damage dealer for only 50 costs in her format, regardless of whether she's running evasion. Barrage comes out, though, 1,500. That is very good for Xathria. We saw something kind of similar in one of the fights in the Rundle division. Again, not to give spoilers, but this positioning, in order to make it so that Frederica barrages and not use bells, a good move by Xathria. Whisper just being just out front enough. Not incredibly far forward, but far enough. Divine Shelter comes out. This is going to give her a ton of nice buffs. And Spike's Frederica, without bells, is probably going to be fairly weak compared to how she could be. Devotion comes out from Shadowlinks, so just buffing her attack. So yeah, so this very much makes me think that Shadowlinks is probably not a super dodgy version here, just running for damage. As bells finally does come out for the Frederica. So As much as I said that Frederica probably wasn't going to do anything, she's in good shape here. She was not in range to hit a standard attack, which is good for Spike, as Saintly Wall comes out from Raldor. Might be able to tank up some of this other damage from Xathria pretty well, unless the Sylvie comes up and hits. Shuriken only doing 1300. What does Whisper have here? Taunting spell comes out, 1366. Got all the hate, though. And Silencing spell comes out. The double silence, again, not super massive because they're not really magic damage dealers. The Sylvie is the one that you don't want the silence on. And Shadowlink's going to go Shadow Tether, 7600 damage, and lands the stop on Little Leela. That is massive for Xathria here. Frederica's going to Barrage. Can land it on the Shadowlinks. Again, not a super evasive version of her, but she does hang on, which is pretty huge, as the Make-A-Wish Limit Break is going to come out from Sylvie. This is going to give a barrier and a massive heal. And it does land on the Shadowlinks, which is pretty major because she was very low. I imagine this probably allows her to live a hit from Raldor, even though Raldor is just going to move right past her and go to the tank with the Demolition Fist. Only 3k, tanked up pretty well from Whisper again. Is this another barrage? Yes, it is. Again, that barrier really helping out. And now the evasion passive kicks in. So might even put her to a point where she can start dodging one or two of those hits. But the standard attack comes out, kills the 140 Little Leela. And I wonder if there's any more heals coming out from Sylvie, or if she's just going to go into attack mode here. I imagine she's just going to go for damage. She is. She's going to go Slate Wiper, and she is going to double kill the Frederica and the Raldor. So this first series, we've got, even though no playoff implications, like I said, is important for the seeding for the Toilet Bowl. So a tight series between these two guys. We're jumping into a game 3. Let's check it out. All right, guys, the final game of the Xathria versus Spike series. We've got Whisper and Little Leela showing again. But what are the other units that came with these two parties? What did they decide to switch up? That is my question here. Because the Sylvie did a lot of work in the last game. Does Xathria decide to bring it again? Yes, he does. So we've got 140 Whisper, 140 Shadowlinks, and the Sylvie versus Resnick, the Hoppy, Luell, and Little Leela. Probably a good move. That Raldor really didn't do a whole lot last game, so switching it up, going with somebody a little more dodgy, and a slash attacker rather than a strike attacker. An Earthen Invocation comes out from the Luell. Unit attack resist up. There's pretty standard buff rotation coming out from Spike so far. Prayer of Resolute Oath, so this is going to make Whisper even tankier than she already is. She already has absolutely insane resistances, and now she's going to gain some extra defense and spirit. So can the team from Spike get through this Whisper is my question, because she had that buff from Sylvie, and she has Protect, Shell, Regen, Healing Power, basically everything that you could want on a tank. This Resnick's going to go with the Just Keep Popping, get her own Courage buff online. And Shadowlink's last time went for a Shadow Tether, but this time she cannot reach. She's going to jump up in the air. So this is either a horizontal or vertical jump. Yeah, horizontal jump for 4190. Not as crippling as the attack from last time. Law of Geoabsorption comes out. This time it does land the kill on Shadowlinks. That is actually major compared to the last fight. Last time it did not do enough damage, and this time it does basically just one-shot her. And that's a pretty big adjustment, because now Sylvie is going to have to go into full life mode. Quadra Break comes out, only 1500 damage, so not a ton. And Thrice the Acrobat, honestly, considering all of the statuses that Xathria had there, actually does a good chunk to Xathria. This Resnick from Spike, some very good penetration. This is the Limit Break coming out from Sylvie, gives a little gift to her, says, hey, here's a full health bar and a shield as well. And Drain Evocation comes out from Luell, not a ton of damage. So it seems like the only one who can really hurt this Whisper is the Resnick. But my question is, speaking of hurting her, holy crap, Domination just absolutely dumpsters the Whisper with 9k damage. And now Sylvie needs to do a ton of damage, but I think she's going to go for full life. No, she's not. She's going to go, I'll protect everyone, and she can't even land it. The Resnick is too evasive. This looks like a pretty convincing win from Spike, and the silence lands from Little Leela. And you have to think there's no way that Xathria's going to win this now. Thrice the Acrobat, Resnick the Hoppy putting on an absolute show in game 3. And Spike's going to take that series pretty convincingly, actually. Obviously, he lost the game 2, but that game 3 was a very, very one-sided win. An excellent showcase from Resnick the Hoppy coming out from Spike. GG to him. Congrats on the series win. We'll see both of these players in the Toilet Bowl. We've got 4 more awesome series for you guys. Let's jump into the second of the day. All right, guys, for our second series of the day on the left side, we've got Turambar of the guild Get Schwifty, coach of the Fire Ferrets, versus Ram9 on the right side of the guild Howl, coach of the Rock Boys. And this should be a banger of a series. These two teams are currently fighting for the second overall seed in the division. Whoever wins it gets the second seed. Loser will be either third or fourth. They're both already in the playoffs. That is already clinched, so not a ton of pressure here, but you certainly want to win to try and help improve your draft spot and also to just have bragging rights over that other player. So taking a look at the rosters, Turambar and the Fire Ferrets, especially recently, have just been putting in so much work with this Sakura, Jaden, Titus comp. That has definitely been his favorite that he has been running as of late. And for Ram9 and the Rock Boys, we saw some recent success with some of those ice missile units, but the most effective comp throughout the season has been those triple UR teams with stuff like Miranda, Fryevia, Killfay, Ketone. Pick a couple of those 80 or a couple of those 70 costers with one of the 80s, and they've been working very, very well for him. So will we see some more of that? I'd be curious, because the ice missile I don't expect to see from Ram9 and the Rock Boys. Titus is a very, very effective missile tank, and it makes me think that Turambar is almost guaranteed to run him. And Turambar up to this point has pretty much done Titus with the double lightning or Titus with the double light if he runs Titus. So I don't know, it'll be an interesting matchup. I think I probably expect the Jaden Sakura Titus just because Killfay can be good against lightning, so can Ketone, so he probably is a little intimidated to run the lightning. And I expect probably triple UR from Ram9. But whether or not that's what comes out, we'll have to jump into the series. So let's go into game 1 and see who wins. All right, game number 1, guys. We've got Turambar with Jaden, Ram9 with Fryevia. So is that the triple UR coming up from Ram9? That is a lot of times what we see when he brings a Fryevia. No, it is not. It is Chunak and Severo in the back. Interesting. This is not something we have seen from Ram9 all season. We have not seen this 3-man team. Padfoot comes out from Chunak. This is the haste and hate down. I love this. I mean, this is the typical team that we've seen from Turambar as of late. March of the Stag comes out from Jaden, getting that agility up on both him and Sakura. Going to pump up his own magic stat. And Fryevia is a very good magic tank. This attract barrier is extremely effective. I believe it gives a 70% magic shield. And Heart-like Needle's going to pop up their magic attack up, Hurl and Spear piercing rate. So if anybody can eat through Fryevia, it probably is Sakura. She is incredibly good at dealing damage to pretty much everybody. Saintly Fortress comes out from Titus. This tells me that he basically has no other buffs online because it is essentially last in his priority list. As looks like we've got the auto turning camera on. So that's kind of nice with some of these angles to try and see where people are. Haste Perpetuator comes out from Severo. Haste and Courage, that is his job 25 skill. And Nimble Movement comes out from Sakura. So she is moving very, very quickly. As Sniper Stance pops up his effective range, he can hit from farther away with this buff online. Chunak's going to walk into Break Flurry onto Titus, deals almost 5,000 damage and drops both his healing power and his defense. What can Fryevia do to follow up? Can she continue the slash chain? Yes, she can. Spellville Blade, 3,600. Can Severo get in range to kill? I'm not sure that he can. I don't think so. He's got a lot of range, but not enough. Grace of Eternal Friendship comes out with the Black Rose Helen TMR. Get him really speedy now that he has agility and haste up and a 3-hit barrier. Is this Rebel Intention? No, it's Rending Brightblade, which is very effective at removing that 70% magic shield. Now Magic Blast should do a lot more damage now the barrier's gone. It does. It almost has 8k now. Titus can't finish off, though. It's going to reproc Saintly Fortress. Apparently, she does not have the ranged skills turned on, so he cannot hit the Fryevia for the kill. Fatal Pirouette's going to take out Turambar's Titus, though. And now it is a 2v3, and Knight's Blessing comes out. That is major coming up from Ram9's Fryevia, because now I don't think Sakura can one-shot the Fryevia now that the barrier's back online. This is going to be a Water God. This is going to do a good chunk of damage. 6k onto the Jaden and Severo, the 30 cost unit coming in clutch here. Sakura's a good unit for 70 cost, but I don't know how she's going to pull this 1v3. Chunak's going to do Razor's Edge, 3715, not enough to take her out. Did he just step into an AoE, though, is the question. Yes, he did. Quick Hunter's Light, but it misses. Chunak is too dodgy for Sappers here. Jamming thrust comes out from Severo, and he picks up 2 kills in the fight. That was not the team I expected from Ram 9 at all. I haven't seen him run that once, but that was damn effective. Very, very well played by Ram 9 here. And now the pressure is on Turambar to see how he adjusts for game 2. What does he have? Let's find out who wins. Game number 2, guys. On the left side, we've got Turambar's Jaden, Ram 9's Freyevia showing again. So the same front units. Looking at the attack and magic stat, this might actually be the same team coming up from Turambar. I'm surprised he didn't switch this up here. But maybe expecting Ram 9 to switch, decided to just stick with his own guns. As Ram 9 does switch here, he goes triple UR. Magiblast coming out immediately from Jaden. So getting down some nice damage before she pops her barrier. As Ram 9's running Killfate, Miranda, and Freyevia. Again, that triple, you know, cold triangle UR comp that has just been so effective. These triple mages that are all kind of bulky. The track barrier comes online, so now it does have that huge magic shield. And Jaden's already wasted some of his AP here. Heart Like Needles comes out. I don't know, man. I think the early advantage goes to Ram 9 here with some of that AP being used. The Saintly Fortress comes out from Titus. He's going to tank up whatever he can. Sappers not going to be able to get in range to do any damage. Going to pop the Dark Fina TMR. Magic attack resists penetration, so she could pretty much eat through whatever the heck she wants here. Especially if there's the Valifor VC on, as Taunting Spell gets Magic Reflexed by the Titus. Magic Blast Plus comes out. Not a ton of damage, about 2k to Killfay, and Freyevia soaked that incredibly well. And Jaden is now basically out of AP. Water Good Dispeller comes out, 3676. This might be an early series win for Ram 9 here. Magic Reflex comes out, though, from Spellveil Blade. I don't know if that would have killed Sappers, but that could be pretty major. Taunting Spell comes out, 1768, and now Killfay actually has Hate. I'm not sure if you want it that way. I think you want the Freyevia with Hate. 900 damage hitting the Freyevia, and now Sappers. I don't think Spellveil Blade would have killed her, but Rending Bright Blade's going to break her barrier. That Magic Reflex looking kind of major. Titus, though, just going to move right out of the way. Titus's AI looking really clean from Turambar as the tank is going to move out of the way so there's no AoEs hitting the party. Dispelling Thrust doing about 5k. Killfay might be able to pick up this kill, though, with Energy Blaster. 4260 is going to drop the Titus, and now it is at a 3v2. Freyevia, does she Knight's Blessing? No, she goes Spellveil Blade onto the Jaden, actually. Not onto the Sappers. Golden Magic Shot, only 2783. This looks like Ram 9's fight to win, unless Sappers can do a ton of damage here. They are stacked up for an AoE. She's going to drop the Eternal Pain. This is going to have to do a ton. The Limit Break. What does she have here? Triple hit Chain. It does an absolute shitload to Killfay. Drops Killfay and Freyevia, and now this looks like it's Turambar's game now. I thought Ram 9 had this in the bag. Dispelling Thrust comes out, kills the Jaden. Man, oh man. And Light Blade comes out. There's no courage on Miranda. Miranda's going to drop, and Ram 9 wins that in game 2. I don't think Magic Reflex was the difference there, because Spellveil Blade would have had to do 5k damage. I don't think it would have done 5k. I could be wrong. Freyevia could do that. But I think the Magic Reflex wasn't the difference in the fight. I think Sappers would have lived with probably like 2k, if I had to guess. But it's hard to say. But Turambar brings it to a game 3 with a massive limit break from Sappers. Can he get the reverse sweep, or will Ram 9 win it? The battle for the second seed comes down to a third game. Let's jump into it. Game number 3, you guys. We've got Turambar's Titus showing and Ram 9 showing Severo. So is this the two teams that already won a fight? I thought I saw a huge attack stat actually from Turambar. So I don't... Yeah, that's it. It's double lightning versus double water and an earth for Ram 9. And now here's my question, though, because I would say that the elemental advantage is somewhat in Turambar's favor. The thing is, though, lightning is not the most accurate unit in the game. She does pop the Relentless Assault, which upgrades accuracy. So my question is she running accuracy in luck runes? Because she's going to have to hit these evasion units. Crest of the Black Lion comes out from Orlando. Again, he has a plus 30% hit rate skill with Crush Armor. But if they're not running accuracy runes, I don't think the elemental advantage is going to matter for Chunak, and it certainly won't matter for Killfay. So can they hit them is the big question here. Watercur Perpetuator going to drop the Bravery from Titus, and 4,300 is pretty respectable damage from the Severo. The Pursuit buff comes out from Lightning, as she will now have her follow-up attack on. Chunak going to go Shadowcast, Evasion, and Reaction block rate as well. So he is definitely an evasion build Chunak. We saw him dodge abilities in the first fight here as Bolt Barrage comes out from Orlando. And Utsusemi's Shadow comes out. So tons of evasion from Ram 9's team right now, as Lightning actually goes for the Sweetheart Oldira TMR, increasing the movement. Interesting. I'm guessing unit resist maybe for, I'm not entirely sure, but Ready to Engage comes out. I'm actually surprised he couldn't reach the Titus there. Orlando, I don't know if he has the height range to hit there or if he just couldn't hit, but Titus can't hit. He literally just walked away from the other team. Titus cannot hit. He's going to get hit by another water gun. This bravery debuff does not stack like most of them does, or else he would probably be a chicken already. Drain Force comes out. This is a 3v2 early advantage for Ram 9. I think this is his fight. Dispel Spread gets dodged by the Chunak. Absolutely obliterates Severo, but Severo already got rid of the tank. And I am pretty confident that Orlando just can't hit. He has 2 jump in his kit, so he can't hit. He literally has a 0% chance. He tanks that triple reeve insanely well with his 3-hit barrier, but he's not going to tank whatever that Ketone has, not Shadowlinks. Does the stop land from the limit break? Yes, it does. And this looks like a W for Ram 9. I don't know how they get around it. Relentless Assault will raise the accuracy. But again, they had a 0% chance to hit. So even if this gives them a slight chance, like this means like they probably have somewhere around like a 12% chance to hit if I had to guess. Limit Break comes up from Chunak, and even with the elemental disadvantage, absolutely obliterates Orlando. Ketone's going to take the kill. Lightning's a good unit, but there's just no way. She's going to go for this. Dispel Spread. It gets dodged by the Ketone. An absolutely awesome tech coming out from Ram 9 in Game 3. This is not a team that he has brought out all season. Coming out with the big surprises and the creativity in this final week, I absolutely love it. Shadowbind 4K with the move down. Dispel Spread. It misses. There's just nothing he can do. He can't hit. The chances are too low. Chunek's probably going to pick up this kill. Razor's Edge 2034. That's going to do it. And Ram 9 and the Rock Boys are your second seed for the Heinler division. Turambar and the Fire Ferrets will have to see if he ends up as the 3rd or the 4th seed. Depends on what happens here in the following series here. But very, very well played by Ram 9. This team by Turambar is incredibly scary, especially the Sakura Jaden one. But some really awesome creativity coming from Ram 9's teams. That was really awesome to see. So we have 3 more series to go, guys. They are all those series for the 3 teams fighting for that, 4 3rd seed or whatever we've got here. So let's jump into those series and see who won. For the 3rd series of today, we've got JEBAW of the Guild Rebirth, coach of the Sappers, versus Maverick of the Guild Vandals, coach of the Spaghetti Western. Maverick off a fresh upset 2-0 victory over Dr. Dickhead and the Foolish Mortals last week, and that is the reason that we are here today looking at who will claim that final spot. Without that victory last week, it would have already been clinched up and done with, but Maverick kept things very, very interesting going into the final week. Can he end up squeaking into the playoffs? We'll have to find out over these last few series here. So for JEBAW and the Sappers, he has definitely had the most success with his Perrine and Ramada Victoria comps that have had 3 wins altogether as a unit. For the most part, over the rest of his team, he really hasn't been able to pick up those wins. So is that the team that we see from him again, just because those are the teams that have worked for him? Or does he decide to go with something like Vadim, Perrine, and Resnick or something like that? If I don't know, it's tough to say, because on Maverick and the Spaghetti Western, he has a lot of lightning threat here for units like Perrine or Ramada, but he has a lot of wind threat also for the earth units. So honestly, for like elemental advantage, it's really, really tough. Like if I'm Maverick in the Spaghetti Western, I don't know what he's doing about double wind mage like Gargus, Halloween, Little Leela. If I was him, that is probably the route I would go. Maybe I would try and get like Marial to tank and just be a super effective magic tank. It's tough though. It's really tough to say what else he could do here. I'm curious to see what they brought out for this series. Let's jump into it. For our 3rd series of the day, we've got Maverick on the left side hovering that Halloween Little Leela versus JEBAW hovering Vadim here. So I'm curious to see what we've got. Again, Maverick, he needs some other things to go his way, but he needs to win this series to have a chance to make the playoffs. So he is trying to push for this. This is the team that honestly I would bring if I was Maverick. Double Wind Mage plus Salir. I think it's incredibly scary, especially on this map with all the height ranges. An Arithmetician could be incredibly effective here, as the agility and luck buff comes out from Salir. What does Gargus go for? He's going to go with the zombie re-raise. And now I'm looking at the other side. We've got JEBAW. This is scary for him because he has double earth. That is not the element you probably want to bring into these double wind mages here. We've got Queen of Horn Mashri along with Yrel. But unless Vadim can get in range and maybe pull off like a charm or something, I think it's going to be a really uphill climb. Spirit of Horn comes up, so the re-raise plus CT up. Halloween Little Leela, though, with her incredible movement and range, 8,700 damage into the Urel. That really, really hurts. Salir can't get in range to do anything here, but Gargus has a lot of range himself. A Windlash probably reaches. Yeah, it does. It's going to proc that Courage for Urel. In these big, long-range Wind Mages, dealing a lot of damage. 3-step Star Strike does a lot. Actually, not a lot, but it breaks the barrier that Halloween Little Leela had on herself. But I thought she was going to pick up the kill. She's actually going to go Aeroga and pick us up the kill on Queen of Horn Mashri. Oh my goodness, this fight is just a slaughter to this point. This elemental disadvantage is really rough for JEBAW to overcome. Queen of Horn Mashri is a strong unit, though. Can she pick up a kill despite the elemental disadvantage? If she can, this could potentially turn some things around here. Queen's Gambit, how much is this going to do into her? 3502, even with the Earth attack resist drop, it's not enough to pick up the kill. Thunder is going to kill Urel, and now this is a 3v2 with Vadim, the 30 cost unit on the other side of the map. Windlash is going to take her out, 10,000 damage. This is a very convincing game for one for Maverick, and he says, that playoff spot is mine. I want to make it here. So what does Halloween Little Leela have? Can she kill here? Level 4 Wind Axiom. An increased accuracy hit, 8,600 damage drops the Vadim, and JEBAW is unable to take the game 1 victory. Maverick now 1 game away from winning his series and giving himself a chance at that playoff push. Let's jump into game 2 and see if he can win another one. Game number 2 here, guys. Same units, it looks like. Halloween Little Leela coming out from Maverick, Vadim coming out from JEBAW. I think a different attack and magic stat, though. So I don't expect the double Earth. And it is not. It is Perrine and Resnick. So elementally, this is much, much better for JEBAW. I'm curious to see if Perrine can do some work here. Maybe with some shields, some unit attack resist up from Resnick, and some heals in the back. She can do a lot of damage, so we'll have to see. Same initial turn rotation coming out from Maverick. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Greater Domain of Water. And I'm curious to see, is this an evasion Perrine? Because Gargus does have guaranteed hits. Salir has guaranteed hits in the first few turns of battle. Halloween Little Leela does not. She does have an increased accuracy ability. But if you can especially dodge 1 or 2 hits or something like that too, it could be good from JEBAW. And I like this positioning change, how he's stacking up everybody on the same side here. Might have wanted to, you know, draw people over to Vadim last time, but I don't think he was running Bowtie, or else I think they would have moved in that direction. I didn't pay super close attention to the movement last time. Halloween Little Leela cannot reach this time, and Gargus can't reach either. I'm actually surprised. These units have incredible ranges. And this might be really good for JEBAW here. We'll have to see, but now they are stacked up for an AoE. This looks like it could actually be kind of rough. How much damage can Halloween Little Leela do, and does it hit the Perrine? It gets dodged by the Perrine. It actually one-shots Resnick. I can't believe how much damage that did to Resnick. 8,400. Gets dodged by both Perrine and Vadim, though. Can he land a Steel Heart or something? No, he goes for Mug. 2,500 damage, removes buffs. Bolt Surge, though, this is a guaranteed hit early in the battle. Crucially, does not kill him. Gargus is going to have to waste his attack, Unavailable Painting the Vadim. And now, can Perrine get a big AoE? A double kill or something? Vortex Kick, how much is it going to do? Not enough. That barrier on Halloween Little Leela really helping her out here. Level 4 Wind Axiom goes for damage, not for the heal. The self-heal is going to be nice, but Salir, does she still have guaranteed hit? Has enough turns passed? I'm not entirely sure. No, enough turns have passed. It's not guaranteed anymore. Bolt Surge going to come out. Unavailable Pain. 8,300 is enough. Maverick is going to win his series very convincingly and give himself a chance to make the playoffs. So again, I said this before, Maverick won his series. Now for him to make it, he needs Jesus to lose his series, and he needs Dr. Dickhead to lose his series in some fashion. Like if Jesus could lose 2-1, Dr. Dickhead could lose 2-1. If that happens, Maverick will make the playoffs, but he needs both to lose their series in some way. Let's hop into the Jesus series next and check it out. All right, guys, our 4th series of the day here. We've got JesusLBL of the guild Get Swifty, coach of the Strawhats, versus Catrah of the guild Lapis, coach of Sandrock. And Catrah is going to have to try and play spoiler. Catrah is Maverick's best friend right now, trying to win this series for him. On the Straw Hat side, like I said, sitting with 14 points. If he wins this series, he has the tiebreaker over Maverick. So if he wins, Maverick is officially out. If he loses, Maverick has a very legitimate chance at making the playoffs. So we'll have to see what happens here. So for the Straw Hats, he's had Starlight Elena, Sottily, Locke, Yuna, and Cyrell. I think those are mainly like the main units that have been putting in work for him. Nia has been there just to kind of as like flexibility to allow him to run specific units together. Looking on Catrah and Sandrock's team, Pissarro probably been the best performing unit on his team other than maybe somebody like Silma. But what do we see here? So Pissarro could be an evasive unit. It's tough. Like, does Jesus go evasion here? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if there's enough accuracy from Catrah's team here. Like, Esther, if you run agility or accuracy and luck runes with her plus 30% hit, I think you have a good enough chance to like hit units and stuff like that. But I'm not entirely sure. And also looking at the elemental disadvantage of like somebody, his only tank being Moraga on Catrah's side, I wonder if Jesus just goes earth or wind here with like Sadali Cyrell. The main two teams that he's been running the most are the evasion team on Jesus' side or Sadali Cyrell Yuna. I expect probably one of those to come out, and I'm curious to see what Catrah has as an answer. Let's jump into game one and see what they brought. All right, guys, game number one here. JesusLBL is hovering that Cyrell with 3,100 magic stats, so this is almost certainly the Cyrell, Yuna, and Sadali team. Catrah hovering Moraga with a very high attack stat, so I expect probably Pissarro. This is Pissarro Curry. Okay, so Curry with the elemental advantage. Doesn't really matter with the sure hit. This is not an evasion strategy, but if he gets a couple of big Frostmaw barrages, I could see this doing a lot of damage to this team here. Call of the Wild comes out, slash attack piercing rate, so Cyrell should do still quite a bit of damage to Moraga, even though he is a physical tank here, as Pissarro is going to get his agility and evasion on the party. And did Catrah run a full evasion team, or is it just a dodgy Pissarro? I'm curious to see here. Wake Up Impact running the accuracy TMR from Elsorel. A good chunk of damage coming out from Curry. That does half of Jesus' Yuna's health. And Sadali, what did he take there? Almost half himself. Almost the whole party. If Curry can do one more of those on the party, this could get actually pretty scary for Jesus here. What is Catrah going to go here? Indomitable Spirit +1, Courage, AP, physical damage up. A very nice buff for himself. And Concentration going to boost that agility. Is anybody low enough for Yuna to go heal? I think Yuna is below half health, so she will go for this. This should be a Curaga. Kind of mitigating that damage coming out from the Curry. And notably, the Frostbite did not proc on Jesus' team. Do these units have Frostbite resist? Or does he run like a Frostbite resist rune or Esper? If he is running that, that's a very good tech by Jesus. I'm not entirely sure here. A channel coming out from Sadali. This should be damage, I expect. Pissarro TMR on his self. Concentration, just another refresh by the Cyrell here. Actually, I don't think Sadali can... Yes, he can reach damage. Rush Not Thy Fate, 11,000. Brings Moraga down to Courage in one hit. Oh my goodness, zombie TMR, and I think this might be triple re-raise already coming from Jesus. I don't remember if Yuna used re-raise on somebody else already. I think every single person on the team has re-raise. The Pissarro, Limit Break, almost 6k damage, does not crit, but removes buffs. This should kill the Moraga here. I think that's what Sadali's going for. Interesting. Constricting Cleave, though, I don't know, because this might have interrupted him. He goes Rush Not Thy Fate on the Curry, does not kill. Does Yuna get this heal off in time before Curry goes? Yes, she does. Ability activation time, not very high there. And what can Sorrow do here? Crimson cuts. A decent amount of damage, but it's not going to be enough, especially with the counter cure from Sadali. That's brutal. I don't know if Curry could have taken him out here with a Frostmaw Barrage. But he's going to go Sharpshoot, actually, and take out the Cyrell. But she has the re-raise from this Sadali already. And this triple re-raise strategy from Jesus is just really, really nice. Cyrell can function kind of like a low-cost tank who does tons of damage, as Sadali's just going to take out the Curry. Twisting Dissipator, Courage removal still goes off even though the damage doesn't hit. So even though it's a miss, it's still kind of a win for Jesus. Crimson Cuts goes through, finally does kill the Cyrell. Another counter cure from Sadali, though. Honestly, these are starting to be kind of big, as Yuna can go for full life instead of a heal, but the full life whiffs. Unavailable Pain, though, 4340. Sorrow still has Courage online. Unavailable Pain comes out from Yuna. No, I'm sorry, he does not. The Courage removal came through from Cyrell. I was thinking that he still had that, but he does not. Even with the miss from Cyrell, the Courage removal being pretty big, I think that Jesus would have won that regardless, even without those counter cures, but it definitely made the fight more convincing. For Catrah, what does he decide to switch up in game 2? Does he decide to bring a different type of team, or does he think the counter cures are the difference? We'll have to find out. Let's jump into the next game. Hopping into game 2 here. Catrah showing the Moraga, Jesus showing the Cyrell. So is this the same team coming up from Catrah again? Curious to see here. Maverick watching with weighted breath here, knowing that his playoff hopes are on the line. If Jesus wins, Maverick cannot make the playoffs. So we'll have to see what goes on here. This is a high attack stat coming up from Catrah, very similar to his game 1. So I don't know what else this could be unless it is Pissarro Curry again. Honestly, like Curry, it's Promptu. Oh man, we haven't seen Promptu at all season. I love this. I can't wait to see what he could do. Immortal Dogma comes on, re-raise and hate up on the Cyrell. Very cool to see Promptu. We haven't seen him all season. Crown Guard, sniper skills, attack and effect range up. Honestly, pretty nice buff for his buddy Curry back there in the back line. And if Promptu and Curry can chain a couple of barrages in a row together, I could see it doing some work here. The only problem is that Moraga, as shown last fight, got absolutely deleted by Sodali. So is there any adjustment there is that he can at least live a hit? Frostmaw Barrage comes out again, no Frostbite. I am starting to wonder if Cyrell has 50% innate Frostbite resist, or again, maybe it's just an Esper and, you know, gear tech by Jesus. Sodali going to walk forward. What does Promptu go for here? He is in range. Star Shell. This is actually not damage. This is attack, magic, defense, and spirit down on Sodali. Not in range to do damage, but that is just like a debuff skill. Not something I expected to see or say out loud today. Yuna's going to go for probably a heal. This is a Kuriga. Can Jesus' team get in range on the very next turn? This is a Taunting Blade from Moraga. Barely going to touch Cyrell. She's just going to shake it off, no problem. Can Jesus' Sodali one-shot the Moraga again? A standard attack coming out from Curry doing 3k is very solid. Prompto, you need to get in range to do damage here. Piercer, 5387. That is enough to kill the Sodali. That actually interrupts his channel. That could be pretty major, actually, for Catrah here. Cyrell going to walk forward. Frost Axe, 2250. Tanked up very well. Moraga is a much better physical tank than Magic Tank. And honestly, Frostbite coming out, I expected it to be from the Curry, but it's actually coming out from the Cyrell here. Sodali, though, Indoctrination. That is going to proc the Courage from Moraga. But can he walk up and get another hit here? No, Frostbite's going to tick. He's going to go Purify. That never happens. That is Ayaka TMR, and that basically never happens in combat. Dark Parabellum, 6,200 damage, but look at the agility. Curry is a little too slow here. Cyrell's going to go Frost Axe, 5,800. That's a lot of damage on Prompto, and he got Frostbitten. This is probably a Kuriga from Yuna. What is the time on it? Can Curry take out Sodali in time? I think Cyrell has hate, but he standard attacks Curry. That could be huge. We'll have to see what happens here. Curry goes down. What can Prompto do here? He has 27 AP. He needs to do a lot of damage. Piercer, only 1309. Oh my god. Cyrell is such a beast for 50 cost. She just shook that off like absolutely nothing. Constricting Cleave comes out, 4,600 damage. Curry reflexes in a dream and a missed full life. That is pretty much the chances for Catrah here. I don't think he has any other chances other than that. Full life comes through. It's going to hit the Sodali. This is probably going to be a win for Jesus. Mega Charge just not enough to kill Yuna, and she gets the Aeon Bond. The bane of everyone's existence right after the 1-year anniversary comes back to haunt Catrah, and it looks like Jesus is going to pick up this win, taking Maverick's playoff chances and unfortunately putting him in the toilet. Pun intended. He is going to be in the toilet bowl with everybody else, but Jesus wins this series and keeps his own playoff chances alive. So we have one more series to get into, guys, and this is going to be very interesting to watch. So the final series is our #1 team in the division, MacRain and the Materia Hunters versus Dr. Dickhead of the Foolish Mortals. If Dr. Dickhead loses 2-0, JesusLBL will be in the playoffs. If any other thing happens, Dr. Dickhead will make it. He needs to win one single game to make sure he makes the playoffs. Let's jump into that matchup preview and see what we got. All right, guys, the final series of today, we've got Dr. Dickhead of the Guild Lapis, coach of the Foolish Mortals, versus MacRain of the Guild Hydra, coach of the Materia Hunters. Honestly, halfway through the season, I thought for sure these were going to be the top 2 seeds going into the playoffs. Materia Hunters, still that #1 seed, but Dr. Dickhead and the Foolish Mortals fighting for their playoff lives. They need to take a game One single game from the best team in the division. Can he do it? We're going to have to find out. Dr. Dickhead has only used one team all season. He has been very, very predictable in that sense. He has used Lily the Bold, Dark Fina, and Zazan in every single game that he has come into. MacRain and the Materia Hunters has been quite flexible, to be honest, although of late has used a ton of Flagbearer Glaciella, and to no fault. Honestly, Flagbearer Glassy is one of the best, if not the best unit still in the game. Probably the best 120 unit in the game of units, you can't get 140 of. Been insanely impressive. Naya has been dominant at a 12-1 record for the Materia Hunters. I expect Flagbearer Glassy to come out also because Little Lila the Bold has basically, I think it's negative 15 pierce resist. And I don't know if Dark Fiend is any good for versus Pierce. I'm not entirely sure, but I think Flagbearer Glassy is probably very effective here. It all comes down to this final series to see who makes the playoffs and who wins. Let's jump into game one. All right, guys, game number one here. We've got Dr. Dickhead Zazan on the left, Naya on the right for MacRain. Dr. Dickhead has run that same Dark Squad all season, and he's sticking with his Zazan showing here. Loading screen taking just a little second here. Seemed like Dr. Dickhead was a shoo-in for the playoffs, but now he has to take a game from the best team in the league. It's going to be an uphill battle. Can he do it? We're jumping into game one here. And that is not a Dark Squad. That is Astrius and Ibarra. Dr. Dickhead, it took him 9 weeks, but he is shaking up his team comp. He says, hey, I set everyone up thinking that I'm going to run only Dark, and I'm going to finally switch in the final week. So Deep Fortification comes out from Astrius, Sword Song Formation from Ibarra. And it looks like Flagbearer Glassy, Kane, and Naya from the other side. So MacRain, noticing the Pierce weakness on Little Lila the Bold, goes for double Pierce, and he doesn't run the Little Lila. Dragon's Bloodline comes out, though. This is, I believe, Elia Rundall's TMR, nullifying a bunch of status effects. Probably very smart due to the Charm on the Zazan side. I believe Charm Resist is one of the buffs there. March of the Juggernaut. Man-Eater, unit attack resist up, and attack on pretty much everybody. Zazan's going to run very far forward, though. He is going to be in harm's way as regen and healing power comes up from Naya. Naya's been absolutely dominant all season. Bell's online for Astrius, though. The Season 1 hero for Surf Taco. Can he be the hero this week? Zombie Transformation comes out from Flagbearer Glassy. Gets the re-raise online. Can't reach the Zazan, actually. But can Kane do it? And can Kane one-shot is the question. Ibarra gonna buff and walk forward. And sweet support coming out from Naya. So regen, healing power, agility, all of the good stuff on MacRain's side here. And what can Kane do to Zazan? Actually, nothing. He goes for Immortal Spirit, so he gets some Confusion Nullify. But he gets Courage online. What can Zazan do here? Should go for damage, I believe. He does. He's gonna go Crash Edge 5242. Honestly, that's very good damage. The thing is, Naya is sitting there waiting, ready to heal him. So I am pretty sure that's just going to be shaken off like nothing. Indomitability comes out, so he does have Courage online, as well as some Piercing. Flagbearer Glassy, I imagine, kills Zazan in one hit. Triple Cross comes out. He actually lives it. This 20 cost unit, damn, that's impressive. I am shocked that he lived Triple Cross from Glassy. There should be a Kuraga coming out from Crane, though, going to heal and give CT up. This is a limit break from Ibarra. Crucially, it's hitting Glassy, though, not the Kane. And this is going to be healed off from Naya the very next turn. It's going to drop lightning resist, but it's not really going to do anything else. This 3,200 damage just going to be healed right back to full right after this. So a little unlucky for Dr. Dickhead, unfortunately, here. CT up. Kane's going to go next. I believe just a standard attack on Zazan should do it. Yes, it will. And he's going to back up out of range of damage. Honestly, pretty smart move by Kane here. Flagbearer Glassy probably going to nuke this Ibarra. 5,239 removes her buffs. Can't one-shot her, crucially. Astrius going to walk forward. What does he have? Just Deep Fortification. This Astrius has buffed like 4 times already. He has not been able to really do anything effectively. What is Naya going to do, though? Naya just walked into AoE range. She is about to get nuked by Ibarra. Slate Viper's going to take her on one hit. Naya, that was a big mistake, honey. I think she was channeling probably a regen and trying to catch herself in it, but that was bad. This opens up the window slightly for Dr. Dickhead, although I think MacRain is still in a pretty good position here. Triple cross on Astrius, some very good damage. Starts the chain. Dragon Raid's going to take out in the Ibarra. And this looks like it's MacRain's game to lose here in game number 1. Astrius going to go. He's going to pop the limit break, though. This should do a good amount of damage to Glassy. I don't think he can one-shot, but if it can, he has a very good chance here. But 33-35 on a crit is not a ton. Crystal Tracer 26-37 though. I believe Glassy still has re-raise, I think, but Kane should be able to kill him. No, he can't. I thought he had that height range difference. He actually can't. Astraeus is going to go again. He's going to lap. Cross destruction. This is going to... Oh my god, with the follow-up attack. This is going to take out Flagbearer Glassy. Glassy's going to come back with re-raise. Does this follow-up attack kill? I'm certain it does. Crystal Tracer brings the courage to Kane and kills the Glassy, and Astraeus is sitting with full health and courage. This Astraeus just 1v2'd Kane and Glassy. And oh my god, Dr. Dickhead finally switching up the comp in week 9. I think this is a victory for him. Dragon's Bane, I mean, it's going to have to do a ton of damage and slow to even have a chance here. The slow does not land. Astraeus is going to go next. Oh my god, this is a game 1 win for Dr. Dickhead. And whether or not he wins the series, he wins this game 1, and Dr. Dickhead is officially in the playoffs. Maverick and Jesus, a very valiant effort, but they will not be making the top 4 in the Heinler division. Dr. Dickhead said, "You thought I was running dark, and I fooled you." He played the long con. He played it 9 weeks long, but the Astraeus comes up and shows up huge in the final week. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Let's jump into game 2. Can Dr. Dickhead be the first team ever to win this series against MacRain? Because if he wins, he will actually be the 3rd seed, and Turambar will be the 4th seed instead of the other way around. So let's jump into game 2 and see if he can win. All right, guys, game number 2 here. Dr. Dickhead showing the Zazan and Naya showing for MacRain. And my question is, does he run the Estrus Abar again? Does he switch back to Dark that he's been doing all season? Does he bring out some extra flavor now that, I mean, he didn't know that he clinched playoffs at the time, but he did clinch playoffs at the time. But he didn't know that because he didn't know the result of Jesus and Maverick's series. But Dr. Dickhead switching back to the Dark comp, and MacRain going with a team that he's used a couple of times here that I really like. It is like the boost up the Glassy team, the Super Glaciella team with kind of an offensive Lemure. This is Flagbearer, Glassy, Lemure, and Naya. Spirit of Wazat coming out, getting that shield online, AP recovery on hit, accuracy up. This is probably a Hasteja coming out from Lemure. And even at 80 cost, Guard Hasteja is just such a strong ability that I think Lemure is worth it. And MacRain has shown that she can be a damage dealer along with a Time Mage. March of the Juggernaut. Attack up, Man-Eater up. A bunch of good stuff here. And regen on the party. So pretty much the same initial turn rotation coming out from MacRain of what we normally see with this 3-man comp. A zombie transformation comes out, so the re-raise back on Glaciella again. The soup up the Glaciella strategy. And Little Lila's tactical training. I think she already used this one time, so I think she's just refreshing this at this point. She probably wants to get her courage and stuff on courage and maybe a TMR online. I think she just refreshed that. As Sorcerer's Liberation comes out, that is her own TMR. Grace of Eternal Friendship, this is Black Rose Helen and TMR. So both Lemure and Glaciella both have 3-hit barriers online to keep them up. And this is going to help a lot when you have a really good healer like Naya in the back, speeding you up. What does Glassy do? Beacon of Reform, she actually can't reach. I am shocked. This map is so strange, kind of misleading with all the different height ranges. It makes you think that units can reach when they actually can't. And Lemire's going to channel something. Is this a meteor? This is probably damage. Graceful Undoing comes out, 2292, removes the haste. But I have to give the edge to MacRain here, because I'm pretty sure Glaciella is going to nuke that Little Lila if she gets a chance. She is very weak to pierce damage. Meteor plus. How much does this do? 4416. That's not bad at all. And drops her below her threshold where she has really good AoE resist. Zazan in the backline. This is not normally something we see from Dr. Dickhead's team. Steelheart comes through. Charm does not land. What can Glassy do here? This looks like a juicy triple cross, I think. No, Spear of Sending. She can't find the angle. Spear of Sending comes through, removes the re-raise from Dark Vina. So she is dropping in one hit. Can't get any damage off. Lemure probably going to go for another Meteor Plus. This offensive Lemure, a fan favorite. How much does it do to Zazan? 74-25, almost one-shots. And breaking counter lands the... No, the slow does not land. I think that's also a slow, as Delightful Destruction's going to take out the Naya in the back. But I don't think Little Leo's long for this world. Glaciella finally should find the AoE. Shining Conviction. Oh, man. That did over 10k to Little Leela. And like I said, Little Leela has terrible pierce resist. So Flagbearer Glassy just absolutely nukes her there. So GG's to both players in game 2 here. We're heading to a game 3. Can Dr. Dickhead manage to pull off the upset and be the first team ever to beat MacRain in the WDL? Or does MacRain finish the season with an undefeated record? Let's hop into the final game of our season and find out. The final game of our season here, we've got Dr. Dickhead showing Zazan, MacRain showing Naya. Same old, same old. This has been the same thing for all 3 games. But my question is, does he stick with the Dark Squad or switch it up? Honestly, I think I'd probably switch it up. I think the Dark is predictable, and I think Little Leo the Bold having low Pierce res is just really bad versus Glaciella, and that's what it is. So he's going back to the Astraeus Ibarra team. Astraeus basically just went superhero mode last time. Deep Fortification, slash resist, max HP up, absorb in health. This unit is still really good. We basically don't see him very much in our league. One of the reasons was because the Dark Squad was so good from Dr. Dickhead, he didn't have to use him. So Astraeus is a beast, but like, we just haven't, you know, seen him much. So Lemire gonna go for the Hastaja, guard Hastaja. It should be the exact same turn rotation from MacRain. And sweet support coming out from Zazan. So this was set up a little better. I wonder about the positioning last time. Zazan's gonna go forward really, really far here. And here's the regen. So many just really good buffs among the whole team here. Dispelling Spear Flight, 5,200 damage. But Zazan still tanks it. But Astraeus is getting online just like he did for game 1. He's getting all of his buffs, while MacRain is basically just tied up with the Zazan. I expect a Meteor Plus here to kill the Zazan. Zombie Transformation coming out from Ibarra, so she has re-raise. And I believe this is a switch up from game 1. I don't think she had re-raise on last time. I could be wrong about that. And Naya just continuing to be the most dominant 40 cost unit we have in our league. Regen buffs, sweet support buffs, 2 full lives, tons of Kirigas. What can Astraeus do here, though? Lemire might walk forward. If he can find a limit break to get his like follow-up attack online, that is best case scenario. Edge of no return. Yeah, that is not what he wanted. He wanted to find that limit break, so he has that follow-up, I think. 3k is not as much as he would like under the Lemire, excuse me. 1190 regen heal, triple cross, doing good damage again. Removes the courage on Astraeus. I just thought about this. I think she removed courage from him in game 1, and I did not call that out. That game was actually even closer than it seemed. Malevolent Lightning, though, taking out the Lemire. The limit break from Ibarra coming in big. One of my favorite units in the game. Kiriga Benevolent going to come out, but not really doing much. That was really intended for the Lemire. Bulwark Breach going to double hit. I believe that breaks barriers as well. Can Glaciella find an AoE, though? She needs to take out Astraeus, or this could get very, very sketchy. Shining Conviction. It kills the Astraeus. And now the question is, can Ibarra kill Glaciella right here? Izuyoi is 4711. It is not enough. Man, oh man, just barely not enough to take her out there. Naya would have went for a full life instead of a Curata, but that heal is huge. And you have to imagine the edges for MacRain now. Spear of Sending, 5437, and removes the re-raise, so that zombie TMR really not doing anything for her anymore. MacRain's undefeated streak right here on the line. Unless Ibarra can lap, she didn't move. And no, Glacialla's going to go first in the turn order, and I think this is a heal from Naya coming through anyway. Another Curata, the 40 cost unit, being a beast. And the MVP of the season is either this Glaciella or this Naya for MacRain's team. Both of them putting in work in game number 3. MacRain ends up going the entire season without losing. This is a record for the WDL, by the way. Season 1, Turambar went 8 weeks without losing, but he lost in the final week. MacRain is doing something that nobody has ever done. Completely undefeated, 9-0 record throughout the season. I mean, like, hats off, dude. Like, seriously, in my predictions before the season, I had MacRain 5th. I don't know what the heck I was smoking, but man, was I wrong, because his team has been incredibly impressive all season. That being said, hats off to all of the players who have participated in the Heinler division. Let's jump into the stats and the standings. All right, guys, so after 9 weeks, our full regular season, this is the assist leader leaderboard, and we have a new number 1. Zazan has been holding this down for a while at number 1, and now Naya has officially passed him up, or not passed him, they're technically tied, with 43 assists each, but she has 2.69 per game. And to drop some spoilers in case you don't know, Naya was also number 1 in Rundal by a significant margin, and I think it just shows how strong Naya is at 40 cost. I think in the future we might be raising her cost a little bit, but hey, what are you going to do? Zazan at number 2, 43 assists as well. Titus of the Fire Ferrets, 36 assists. And now a number of units much, much closer together on the assist leaderboard. Solir of the Spaghetti Western with 24, Yuna of the Strawhats with 23, Little Leo the Bold and Dark Fina, that dark duo, both with 22 and 21 respectively. Mia, Gargus, and Sakura all with 19. I do want to give one little shout out to Ram9 and the Rock Boys. He has like 4 different units that all have somewhere between 16 and 18 assists. So he is not on this top 10 leaderboard for assists, but he has 4 units that are between like 11 and 15. So I just wanted to shout that out in case they're not shown here. He does have a number of units that are very, very close. On the kill leaderboard, number 1, Flag Bearer Glaciella, Materia Hunters with 23 kills. Dark Fina with 20 of the Foolish Mortals, Little Leo the Bold with 19. So honestly, Dark Fina was holding this down for a really long time. And Materia Hunter swoops in the last week to not only go undefeated, but have the number 1 assist and kill leader. Skahal of the Spaghetti Western, been very impressive with 17 kills. Pissarro of Sandrock with 16. Sakura of the Fire Ferrets with 15. A couple of 14 kill units there with Miranda of the Rock Boys and Jaden Rundall of the Fire Ferrets. Gargus of the Spaghetti Western with 14, and Cyrell of the Straw Hats with 12. And finally, the most important thing that we have to go over here, this is the official standings for the end of the regular season. To JesusLBL and the Straw Hats and Maverick and the Spaghetti Western, I am going to spoil a couple things here. So if you've not watched the Rundall video, I already gave you my warning here. I feel your pain, man. I ended up with 18 points and I did not make the playoffs. I feel you. So the fact that all these 3 teams were all tied and 2 of them don't get to make it, it sucks. But hey, I'll be seeing you in the toilet bowl, and maybe I'll see one of you guys near the end. I hope to see one of you guys. So that being said, MacRain, 27 points. The Materia Hunters, 9-0, perfect record. Only dropped 2 single games all season. 1 to JEBAW and 1 to Dr. Dickhead. That 1 to the Doctor ended up being absolutely massive for the standings. Ram9 and the Rock Boys taking that 2nd spot with the series win over Turambar and the Fire Ferrets. Turambar and the Fire Ferrets hold down that 3rd seed coming out of this division, though, with 19 points. Dr. Dickhead of the Foolish Mortals squeaks in by the hair of his chinny chin chin with 17 points. JesusLBL and Maverick, Straw Hats and Spaghetti Western, super well played all season with 17 points. They will be having a 1st round bye in the Toilet Bowl since they are the 5th and 6th seed. Spike of Bebop's crew, not too far behind with 14 points. Xathria of the Ghostbloods with 10. Catrah of Sandrock with 6. And JEBAW and the Sappers with 4. Thank you guys so much for watching this. One thing that I want to go over before I let you go is I want to talk a little bit about the Toilet Bowl and the playoffs. I'm going to go over a quick bracket preview with you guys so that you guys understand what's going to happen. But just so you know, before I go over to the brackets, the playoffs, I said this in the Rundall video, but the top 4 teams of each division make the playoffs, and they are redrafting, so you're not going to see the same units on these 4 teams as well as the other top 4 teams from the Rundall division. The Toilet Bowl, however, will be using the exact same teams, so there is a chance that there will be some unit overlap. For example, like if Catrah of Sandrock has Pissarro and he ends up playing like unhindered with Pissarro, we could see some Pissarro versus Pissarro action. So the Toilet Bowl will be kind of interesting because we could potentially see some duplicate units, but we will not see that in the playoffs. That being said, let's jump into the Toilet Bowl and playoff bracket preview. All right, guys, for our Toilet Bowl gauntlet here for season 2, this is going to be all of the teams that were not in the top 4 of each and every division. And I do notice that I screwed up on this graphic. You will note I accidentally wrote some of the teams in on the wrong line here. Like this team should be right here, this team should be right here. But just know that I will have this bracket correct for whenever it actually does matter. But essentially how the Toilet Bowl is going to work is that we are not going to do a redraft. The bottom 6 teams of each division are going to do a single elimination elimination, best of 3 format, just like we do in the regular season, except if you lose, you are out of the toilet bowl, essentially, and the last team standing is going to win, essentially. So these are best of 3s, and we are basically intermingling the divisions. So you're going to see the Heinler 8 seed, the Ghostbloods, is going to be versus the Rundal 9 seed, the Pineapple Pizza. The 7th seed of Rundal Goomy Gods will be the 10th seed Heinler Sappers. 8th seed Black Sheep Knights from Rundal will be the Heinler 9th seed Sandrock. 7th seed of Heinler Bebop's crew will be versus the Rundal 10 seed, the Storm Reborn. And then this bracket will be as follows. Like I said, they're on the wrong lines, but you can see what exactly I was trying to do here. So my team, the Rundal 5 seed, will have a bye the first week and will play the winner of Pineapple Pizza versus the Ghostbloods. The Spaghetti Western Maverick will play the winner of Goomy Gods and the Sappers. The Strawhats will play the winner of Black Sheep Knights and Sandrock. And the Corpse Brigade Willie will play the winner of Bebop's crew and the Storm Reborn. And we'll just keep on going through the bracket until there is a champion. So we'll have a different map each week. It should be a really great time. Let's check out the playoff bracket now. So this is what everyone came for, and this is our Season 2 playoff bracket. And I'm not even entirely sure that some of the players know exactly how this bracket is formed. I put it in the rules doc at the very beginning of the season, but I'm not sure if everybody is aware. Like I said, we are intermingling the divisions in the playoffs as well to try and get players to play against people that they didn't necessarily play against in the playoffs. So the top part of the bracket will be MacRain and the Materia Hunters, the Heinler 1 seed versus the Rundal 4 seed Surf Taco and the Superines. On the other part of this same bracket, we've got the Rundal 2 seed, H&X of the Shoot Buff Sweetheart versus Turambar, the 3 seed of the Fire Ferrets. The bottom side of the bracket, we've got Catrah coaching the Gnostics versus Dr. Dickhead of the Foolish Mortals. And then the last part, but not least, we've got Ram 9 of the Rock Boys versus Sandrooster of Bohemian Rhapsody. The bracket will continue as follows until we have one grand champion. The biggest difference to note for the playoffs, compared to Season 1, we are not doing 5 different maps for each series. We are doing 1 map for each round. So this round will be a different map, then this will be a different map, then this will be a different map than this. And we've got all those maps already kind of set. And also the playoffs, indifferent to the Toilet Bowl. The Toilet Bowl are best of 3s. The playoffs is going to be best of 5 format. So they are going to be best of 5s, not best of 3s. So they're going to be a little longer series, but I think it'll be really enjoyable to watch, and I'm excited for it. So if you guys watched up to this point, thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, all of that good stuff. The regular season was a hell of a lot of fun. Like I said, I wish I would have made playoffs, but I didn't. And we have 8 really, really awesome teams that made the playoffs. And I think 8 awesome players that are super well deserving of being there. I'm excited to watch them, and I'm excited to kick some ass in the Toilet Bowl. So it should be a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.